Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be kicking it off with a clip from this woman right here who says that she is a victim. Okay, she is a victim of Chad, of all of these evil, attractive men on dating applications because they keep lying to her, manipulating her, and she is just poor and helpless and she can't seem to get a relationship. You know, what is a 30-plus-year-old woman to do in this situation? Life sure is tough. So guys, we're going to be jumping into this one. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. And we're also going to be cracking into a couple of other clips here today from other women who are over the age of 30 trying to date. We have this one here from a dating coach, no less, for women who are over 30, because apparently a lot of them are feeling, you know, behind in life. But hey, that's a story for the rest of today's episode. But let's jump into this woman's clip first, because this is a pretty funny one. And let's take a listen.
Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am a little sad, believe it or not. I'm definitely feeling low today because I have once again been a victim of love bombing.
Okay, so this is, before we continue, this is the story that every single one of these modern women will try and sell you on, guys. You know, they were just lied to by Chad. They were sold a dream. They are helpless victims. Okay, they ended up in his bed because they thought that they were going to get commitment and they were just being lied to. Now, guys, I don't condone lying. I think it's a bad thing to do. Number one, because it's unethical. But number two, even if you're an unethical person and you don't care about morals, lying is also a bad thing to do because it requires a lot of effort. So maybe you're lazy as well, and that will also discourage you from lying, right? But I don't encourage lying. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think that these men should be lying to women. However, to say that you're a victim is downright hilarious, okay? Everybody knows these men are not going to commit to you. They are not boyfriend material. They are clearly players, okay? If you were swiping... Guys, so many of these women, I guarantee you their fathers, if they are even still in the picture, would pick better boyfriends for them, right? But there are just so many helpless victims, guys. You know, these women, they just... You know, they're just unlucky, right? And they're being targeted.
And if you don't know what love bombing is, we're going to be discussing it in this video and why, if you are dating, you should be wary of this type of behavior. So love bombing is essentially when you first meet someone and before they've even gotten a chance to know you, they're already acting like you're just the greatest person on earth. You know, you're just the perfect person for them, and they're sending you all of these messages of affirmation. And of course, this is really good for your ego and you're getting all excited. But I found that 99% of the time, this is a super big red flag.
Yeah, see, so listen to this, guys. Here's the shocker. Here's the trick. Love bombing is only called love bombing, and it only works on women if you're attractive to them. You see, if you're a guy and you're giving them messages of affirmation, you're telling them wonderful things, you know, you're complimenting them, and you're not attractive to the woman, then it's called creepy, okay? But if you're an attractive man, it's called love bombing, right? None of this works if you're not attractive, by the way. Right? It's just so funny to think about how this works, because what's happening is these women are getting messages from really attractive men who are saying that they're beautiful and they want to take them out on a date and all of this stuff, and then they have their fun and then they throw away the woman. I don't really feel sorry for these women at all. You can spot this crap from a mile away, and the reason you can spot it is because you can ask yourself the question, is this man out of my league? And if he is, then he's probably love bombing you, quote unquote, or he's not going to give you commitment. You know, maybe that super attractive man with lots of followers on Instagram and tattoos is not going to be a good boyfriend. But, you know, hey, what do I know?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a man telling you you're beautiful or expressing how interested they are in you. But at the very beginning, if they seem like they are immediately making you the center of their universe, that's really when it's time to take stock about what it is that they actually want from you. And 99% of the time, it's just sex.
Wow, absolute shocker. You know, I don't even know why you would say that. That's crazy. No, in all seriousness, she's absolutely correct. Right? These men who are attractive on dating applications, which is where these women are meeting men, by the way, they don't want a relationship with you. Okay, and you'll see so many of these women saying, well, how come he made some other girlfriend, you know, he made some other woman his girlfriend, but he didn't make me his girlfriend? he didn't want a relationship with you, right? And if you wanted a relationship with him, maybe you should try either not being masculine or trying to date that man when you're younger, not trying to do it after you're 30. Okay? But anyway, it's just a funny story to watch unfold because so many of these women, 30 plus years of age, oh, I'm being love bombed. I'm being manipulated. I'm sorry, you're 30 plus years of age. How about you take some accountability? This is like a man getting on the internet and complaining that women are only using him for money. When he's like flashing Lamborghinis, you know, it's a very similar thing. Like, oh, she used me for my money. She did this, she did that, and it's like, and you look at the woman and she has pink hair, she has 50 million, you know, facial piercings, and you say to that guy, you're like, of course she used you for your money. She's clearly crazy. Like, look at her. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes would just be told, like, yo, get some common sense. But for some reason, everybody coddles these women. They're like, oh, you're such a victim, right?
A lot of men, especially men that are just trying to have sex with as many women as possible, know how to get inside your head. They know what women want to hear, especially women in our 30s who, you know, they know what we're looking for, which is...
Yeah, they're looking for long-term commitment, right? Like, notice this, guys. She knows what the game is, okay? I don't even have to say this. Women who go into their 30s and who are still single are considerably more desperate, because they have been screwing around all throughout their 20s, right? And now it's crunch time. Okay, that biological clock, you've got like 5 years max before you start having some serious issues, right? You think you're going to have a kid nice and safely at 35, think again, right? But the clock is ticking, so they've got to have that relationship, they've got to get married, they've got to have a kid quickly, and then they can divorce him later on, but they've got to get all of this done now. See what I'm saying? So these women in their 30s, guys, they're just very vulnerable, you know?
Inside your head, they know what women want to hear, especially women in our 30s who, you know, they know what we're looking for, which is frustrating as hell, because it's like, why don't you just go for women in their early 20s who have more time to hook up and fuck around? Like, why would you pursue women that are my age for this kind of nonsense?
I mean, you could say no to these men. There's also that avenue. And this is always the claim that these women make. Well, these men are lying. I had no idea. I guarantee you guys, if we were to bring in the average man and we were just to turn him into a father, just like click our fingers and be like, bam, this woman is your daughter, okay? He could choose these men with like such accuracy, and he could tell you which ones were going to lie to you and which ones weren't interested in a relationship, which ones would be good boyfriend material. You could turn some 22-year-old dude into a father and say, hey, listen, this is your daughter, hypothetically speaking, choose a partner for her, and he would do a much better job than this woman who is 30 plus years of age. Like, he would actually be able to pick her a partner who would, you know, be her long-term boyfriend, who would get married, who would not cheat on her, who would provide for her and care for her and all of these things. But for some reason, guys, you know, these 30-plus-year-old women, they cannot do it. They can't differentiate the men who are just trying to manipulate them. At a certain point, guys, I'm sorry, it doesn't cut it. I can understand having a couple of bad relationships. I can understand, you know, you don't really know what you're doing. Maybe you are unlucky and your father figure isn't around, or your parents aren't really, you know, with you and educating you on this sort of thing, okay? I can forgive a couple of mistakes about not understanding what the hell's going on. Maybe some guy was just actually, you know, really convincing and lied to you, right? But number one, that's why you secure commitment up front. And number two, this shouldn't be happening in your 30s. It really shouldn't, okay? This is not something that's really hard to grasp, okay? Again, using the example for men, if she has brightly colored hair and she has a ton of facial piercings and she's divorced, probably not a good pick, right? That guy who's super attractive on Instagram, who has a motorbike and lots of tattoos, right? And for some reason is just magically single, even though he's looking for a relationship, maybe he's not actually your boyfriend, you know?
Nonsense. It's just, ugh, I hate it. And what this guy did was not unique. He was constantly messaging me and calling me, doing anything he can to get me to come over to his house. Note that he didn't invite me out on a date. Most love bombers don't try that hard. They will do anything they can just to get you in their space so that they have control and that they have the greatest opportunity to get what they want. And I actually did relent. I did go over to his place and we hung.
And there it is. right? I'm a victim. I just randomly ended up going over to his house, and I ended up in his bedroom, but I was manipulated, and that's the reason I got there. Like, come on, man. This is like how? What year are we in? 2024, and this is the This is the quality of lie. I expected more from the modern woman. A lot of these women are so manipulative. They're so full of nonsense, guys. I mean, this was a lie that she's trying to tell us right now. But honestly, I expected a little bit more. If you're going to lie, make it a little bit more convincing, because the problem is men have kind of woken up to this nonsense. And this is the stuff. This is like the kind of thing that, like, if you're going to get into a relationship with a woman like this, she will try and tell you these stories and lie to you. Oh, he's just a friend. Oh, I was manipulated. Or my last boyfriend he was awful. Or he was this, he was that. But oftentimes it's all entirely self-inflicted, and their body count is incredibly high because they keep going out with these men anyway.
Out in their space so that they have control and that they have the greatest opportunity to get what they want. And I actually did relent. I did go over to his place and we hung out, and as I anticipated, he did make moves on me and stuff like that, but it didn't go anywhere. And I think he realized pretty early on that I wasn't going to be easy and that I wasn't just going to be some random hookup for him. So then, of course, what happens the following week, he starts treating me like a burden. And
so you know what I think happened? I kind of zoned out here, but what I think happened is, so she just told us, I think, that she didn't hook up with the guy. Number one, I don't believe that. I think she hooked up with the guy, but the man wasn't interested in pursuing a relationship. He got what he wanted, and he's no longer interested. This woman's trying to tell you that she just randomly ended up over at his house, nothing happened, and then the man got bored of her. No, I think he had his fun, and he's just kind of moved on to the next, 20-something-year-old instead of this woman.
And making me feel bad about myself because I'm like, well, what did I do? But I didn't do anything. This is all this guy and these games that men play. So I think the best rule of thumb, and what I'm going to take with me going forward, is if a guy shows me that kind of interest, I'm definitely going to expect him to take me out on a date or two, because if he really is that interested in me, why wouldn't he want to take me on a date, right?
You serious?
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode.
Why should he take you out on a date? And this is the problem. If you're going to try and sit here and convince men to take you out on dates, well, oh, the next guy, he has to take me out on a date. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. Men don't want to pay full price for something that other men didn't have to pay for at all. You chose to go out here on these meetings to men's houses. You chose to go and meet them on the first date and have your fun. And that's totally fine. You are liberated. You are empowered. Okay? This is the 21st century, queen. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. But you're going to have a hard time convincing men that they should now take you out on dates. Right? So this woman is trying to tell you that she has gone over to Chad's house on first dates multiple times, probably. But she wants you to take her out on a date to show, and you have to show her that you're serious. No, madam. Continue. Go back out there. Have your fun. Live your best life. You're strong and independent. You don't need a man, remember? Right? Like, I don't see what the issue is here. Just keep going with your degenerate behavior and have your fun. Please steer clear of men who are actually, wanting to have something serious and traditional. Because the problem is, guys, I really feel for the men who get lied to and don't understand what's going on. Because if you don't know this stuff, you just don't know this stuff. You might be inclined to believe this woman. Right? I think a lot of people would be inclined to believe that this woman's just a helpless victim. Okay? Men who know better, But there are still a lot of men who would fall for this garbage and just be lied to. And I think that's a real shame. Right? She's going to end up with some husband that doesn't know any better. She's going to cheat on him because she misses the days with the attractive guys. Then she's going to divorce him and take his money. You know, and even if she doesn't do that, hey, that's still a play in the cards that is honestly quite likely. And it's sad. I think it's sad. I think men need to be better educated with this stuff. And guys, that's a big part of the reason why I make these videos, by the way, is because I don't want men to be manipulated by women like this. I don't like it.
So just protect yourself from this kind of behavior, and also just remember your worth and remember that men like this just aren't worth it.
Yes, Queen, remember your worth. So let's continue. Let's go to another woman. Let's go to this woman right here and see what not this one. This one. Actually, no. Let's jump into the dating coach before we continue. Apologies, guys. I just kind of jumped around a little everywhere. But let's jump into this next clip here. And this is if you didn't remember from the intro, this is a 30-plus-year-old, this is a dating coach for women who are over the age of 30 who feel like they are being left behind. So let's take a listen.
This video is especially for my 30-something daters out there. I've worked with and connected with so many who feel like they're somehow behind in their dating life.
No. They're not somehow behind. They are behind. Like, what are you talking about here? If you're a woman and you are over the age of 30 and you're still dating and you want a husband or you want kids or something like this, you are definitely behind. You could have had this a very long time ago. You have not got a lot of time on that biological clock. And guys, this is a dating coach who works with women, so she probably charges, you know, some pretty stupid prices to teach women how to date, which is damn crazy when you think about it. Because dating is not hard for women.
Life. I've worked with and connected with so many who feel like they're somehow behind in their dating life. Maybe you see other friends getting engaged, married, having babies, and they make it look so easy, but you're still going on first dates that are frustrating.
Yeah, the reason why these women who are going out here and doing these things make it look easy is because it is easy. If you're a woman and you're looking for a relationship, you can find one. The question becomes, what quality of man can you get a relationship with? But at the end of the day, if you can't get a relationship, that's on you. The only thing keeping you single is your standards.
Here are 3 tips for daters who feel behind. Number 1 is to get clear on what you want. And it can no longer be that they're hot.
Yeah, right. So I actually, you know, it disgusts me every time I see these videos. The first step for women in dating is all about what they want, right? I want. Here's the things that I want. But the silver lining here is at least this dating coach says that, you know, maybe the 6-foot man with abs is kind of off the table for a long-term relationship. Yeah, no crap, obviously. Right? Because that guy has a ton of options. He's not going to want to date you. Okay, so at least she says something with a bit of common sense here. It's just always funny because every single time I see one of these videos, you know, giving dating advice to women, the first step is always about them and what they want and what they need. Disgusting men. It's never about what men might want. Never consider the other side.
Going on first dates that are frustrating. Here are 3 tips for daters who feel behind. Number 1 is to get clear on what you want. And it can no longer be that they're hot. There are qualities that you are drawn to, and typically I give people 4 non-negotiables that they get to pick, and they are qualities that make the person's personality. Maybe they're funny, maybe they're kind, maybe they're ambitious, but focus on those non-negotiables and
yeah, so check this out, okay? We're not hunting for the looks anymore because those men won't give us commitment. So now that we want commitment, we have to hunt for men with better qualities in their personality. And I want you guys to take notice of what ones she specifically brought up, okay? So she said funny here, so check this out. Funny, and that's just a ploy, okay? They don't really want men who are funny, guys. Check this out. Kind, ambitious, there it is. And what this means is money. Okay, we want a man who's kind, who's generous, who's ambitious. Basically a man who's either making a lot of money or who very soon is going to make a lot of money and who is going to give it to you. This is, you know, I would call this predatory, to be honest with you guys, right? It's because, you know, all throughout their 20s, they hunt the dudes who are attractive and they try and lock them down and it never works. So they get into their 30s and they're like, nope, it's time to target the dudes who have money, right? I'm done with the bad boy times now. So now I want a man, you know, who's going to look after me. And these guys who actually have the capabilities of looking after women like this, they get tricked. right? They get totally lied to. Some 27-year-old, and she's trying to convince you that she never had a relationship because she's been focusing on herself. Yeah, right. Get out of here. She's just scared because she's going into her 30s now and she needs someone to look after her. Ridiculous, man. Like the rate at which men are lied to. But carry on looking for your ambitious and kind men, you absolute queens.
You're ambitious, but focus on those non-negotiables and start giving people chances when they have them. Which kind of goes into number 2. Stop discounting people. Avoid the ick. Sometimes people show up on the first date and they are weird and awkward because first dates can be weird and awkward. Give them a shot, because I've seen so many times where people end up falling in love with people that they did not initially have that chemistry with. And number 3, have fun. If you are not having fun, it is time to take a break and go hang out with your friends.
Okay, so this woman isn't as bad as the other dating coaches you typically see. You know, but the end of the story here is if you're a woman and you're over 30, you have to lower your standards, and now you have to date the men who are perhaps a little bit more awkward, who haven't gone on dates before, or as many dates as you would like. Because it's funny, right? People say like, oh, I don't want a guy who's been with a lot of women, but who do they go with? They always go with a dude who's been with a lot of women, who has the confidence, who has been on like 5,000 dates before and knows what he's doing and where he's going, where he's driving, where he's parking, you know, all of this kind of stuff, right? The man who has done this thing a million times will have so much better success. But the man who's weird and awkward, nobody cares about. So she is actually giving advice to go for those guys that perhaps, you know, aren't really drowning in women, right? Which I think is a fair thing to say. But it's just funny to me, guys, how it's all very opportunistic, right? Now that we're 30 plus years of age, now we're going to chase these men who perhaps are a little bit socially awkward, but maybe they have some money. Let's go after these guys now. I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you. Right, if you want to have your standards, at least keep them consistent, and don't lie to me about how it's about some healing journey you went through and now you know your worth. Get out of here. Guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.